Hey everyone, you're listening to episode 16 of Social Media Talk, brought to you by John Drudgeris, hosted by John Drudgeris, and brought to you by Revenue Hook Media. Today I'm going to discuss a social media marketing content strategy that I personally am going to start using, and especially going to start with this podcast episode because I'm going to distribute this video podcast to many different streams of social media. So the content strategy that I'm going to discuss contains making a macro content, a piece like a video podcast, and then turning it into macro pieces. So the first piece of information I want to give you is the big piece. So in a marketing world today, everybody wants videos. That's just how the world's going. So for example, what I'm going to do with this video, I'm going to put it on YouTube. And then once I put it on YouTube, I'm going to break it down, take the video away, and put it on a podcast form on my podcast. Then from there, I'm going to dissect the video, take out bits and pieces of information that I want to make into short little pieces of content, and post that on Instagram, Facebook, even smaller videos on YouTube, Twitter, every different kind of social media channel. That makes your micro content. So basically, let's say I have a really good quote from this podcast. I will then take that quote and put it on an Instagram post with a creative added to it. And it's really, really smart because this podcast, it can make one piece of content into 10, 15, 20, 30 pieces of content. So let's say your podcast is 30 minutes long. You have 30 minutes of content right then and there that you can then transform into micro pieces of content, whether that's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Like I said, you could do even Pinterest, LinkedIn. That's another big one. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn are the three main ones that I would suggest. So for this podcast, I just want to say, make content, make videos. If you don't have a podcast, if you're not like a service-based business, if you're not like a product-based business, actually no, if you're not a service-based business, I don't know what I'm talking about. It's early in the morning. If you're not a service-based business and you're more product-driven or like a restaurant, take videos of your restaurant and then, or interview your employees, interview the owner. If you are the owner, interview yourself, do a video like I'm doing, make a podcast, really simple, 5 minutes a day. This podcast right now is at like 2:41. It's probably going to be done here in the next minute and a half at most. So what you can do, let's say you have a 5-minute, here's a perfect example. So I'm going to do the example that I'm going to put out right now and today. So I'm going to have a 4 to 5 minute podcast, a video podcast. What I'm going to do from there is I'm going to put the video on YouTube, and then I'm going to extract the audio from it, put it in podcast form, put it up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, through the app Anchor. Great app if you want to advertise your business, if you want to start a podcast, if you don't know how, Anchor is a great way to do it. Also, after you do that, you could transcribe it. You can look over the video, see what kind of pieces of content you can add to like a little quote picture on Instagram or Facebook, and then build on that. So you can have 10 quotes in a podcast. That is 10 days of content right there. So if you do one podcast a day for 7 days, that's 7 YouTube videos, that's 7 podcasts. And then if you have, let's just say you have 5 quotes from each podcast, 5 times 7 is 35. You have a post for a month right then and there. And that is a content strategy that I'm going to start using, and I hope everybody will take advantage of it because it's brilliant. It's really easy and quick and easy to do. You just have to find the right apps. And one app that I would suggest is Anchor for podcasts, and then for extracting the audio, I would then use it's like a video to MP3 converter. You can find it on the App Store. Very simple to use. You just upload the video and then just choose what format you want, either MP3 or MP4. It would be MP3, and then you can just push that on an Anchor, add a description, done. That takes 10 minutes because I'm going to pretty much put this podcast on YouTube and Anchor, and then all the partnering podcasts platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, within 10 minutes, and boom, it's out to the masses. So this is John Drudgeris bringing you invaluable content. If you have any ideas, any suggestions, please feel free to respond to this video, respond to the podcast, or just DM me on Instagram, and I hope you have a great day.